Grammar in context, identity, and names. We use names to identify a person. Identification often takes place in the simple present. This is Elisa. She is a poet. She is my friend. Nicknames are sometimes a short version of a full name. Sometimes they describe a personality trait or a physical trait. We called him Flame because he had red hair. Such names place emphasis on the obvious. In intimate relationships, nicknames signify affection and make sense only within that specific context. For example, kitten, poppet, monkey. Such names are private and should be treated as such. Remember that the word identity refers to the condition of being oneself and not another. This gives us a sense of who a person really is. Identification does not work in the same way. Nicknames tend to vary over time as our desire to identify shifts. We might create a nickname to distance ourselves from a person. Alternatively, we might use a pet name to pull someone closer to us. A pet name says, "I know you." It says, "Come back to me." Get used to the idea of nicknames. When you meet someone new, ask them if they prefer to be called by their given name or by something else. This shows you would like to be friends. Afterwards, you should try to find out more about this person. Do not rely on yes or no questions. They discourage conversation. If you make new friends, don't be afraid to ask them, what are your dreams? What are your plans for the future? We're doing the future in the past next, which is a confusing concept that some of my students learned today. The future in the past describes plans or expectations that existed in the past. I knew you would remember. Future in the past expresses the idea that in the past you thought something would happen in the future. It doesn't matter if you were wrong. In this tense, as in the simple future, we use would to volunteer or to promise. To show intention, we use was going to. Moreover, both forms can be used to make predictions. On the eve of your departure, you say, "My darling, I will be a long time in the air and a longer time away. You would like to know if we share a future. You say you feel vulnerable to devices designed to divine. You do not understand the stars, silent and relentless in their staggered patterns. You no longer wish to be attentive to the ways in which the tarot cards fall. Wheel, Sun, Empress, the Lovers, the Hanged Man. In the past, these were indicative things. It is the future now. I am going to use a different technology to predict what happens next. Somewhere thunder sounds, then rain. Your soft protests dissipate. I knew it would happen this way. Your heart submits to attack like any electronic device. Its impulses can be measured with paper and wire. This system produces a digital readout, long as a letter, but less flat. The modulation of emotion easily graphed and decoded. It is the ebb and flow of attraction transcribed. It is a long tally of causes and reasons set into a blank page. I would like to define this vast machinery and understand all its exotic points of reference. I am eager to collect this data. I will arrange it as a series of sequential actions, translate that sequence into sentences which form the past perfect progressive. I will take this timeline. I will show you exactly where the wires plug in and what then might happen. So we're going to end in the simple present, where we live, and the present progressive, where we also live. The simple present describes events, situations, or activities unconnected to time restrictions. It is also used to construct general statements of truth or fact. The present means now. It means what is happening. By the time we hear the word happens, everything has already happened. Life progresses this way. It is a Sunday on the cusp of spring. Above us all, the stars are small against the dark. The details are small as well, and largely unimportant in the present progressive, which relies on action verbs to convey what happens now or in the extended present, this week, this year, this month, this night. For example, tonight you read about the weather in each season. We are meeting each other for the first time. I can't describe your breath on my skin. Can you explain how it feels? Breath held aloft like birds, held against my throat, breathing in just this moment and whatever else follows. The future replaces the present. Departure displaces arrival in the same way. This is the dazzling nature of transit. This is how time functions. Your words urge me to abandon all the small deceptions I allow myself, to give up feeling lost in this inflexible world with its rigid desires. I have learned what I feel reflects what I think about reality, not reality itself. I have learned verbs used to express perception, possession, emotion, and appearance do not generally use progressive forms. But I want to express this feeling as continuous action. I want to say it began here, amidst lavender and ash, then continued. It begins. It continues. I want to say it is only the beginning.